And we're back. So the finals, winner takes it all. So um, we have Gosu on this mono primal deck against Secret Plans on the Argenport control, mid-range, probably control deck that won last week. So who do you think has the edge? Like what are you expecting to be the major, players in our game?
I really think it's going to boil down to who is able to have more threat. Because to me, none of the interaction is just very awkward into each other. So as we can see, only to call the hit, which isn't great against, say, like you really wanted 4 copies to fight off these blacks. Mystical Shackles is just extremely awkward against Face Aegis and so forth. But on the flip side of things, something like Permafrost is completely dead against the Magnaventri, the Black Book pit bosses, and isn't really and is very awkward against something like the Parliament Elder as well, because they still get the sigil. So to me, I think it could really go either way. It just depends on who is able to find the threats that their opponent is unable to deal with.
All right, and just like that, we're going down in the match. So Secret Plans with a one power hand, probably a mulligan. Uh, and definitely the first hand because that's one power. And then if we
Well,
look on the other side, Gosu's hand isn't that bad. Doesn't have a two, but has some pretty decent threats in the matchup. But we're seeing a mulligan, just trying to get something a little more proactive. His hand's kind of the opposite of that, but we're still
mm,
seeing the keep there. Oh, I did miss the Stormhelt playing Secret Plans' hand. So you are allowed to keep this one. I do
mm,
like that as a hidden Garrote, which is one of the better cards in the matchup because it removes the Aegis. It's able to usually trade off with a card like Plunk, and already has one armor, so it kind of doesn't really get affected by Thicket Trap, assuming the Thicket Trap comes down
I
first.
love the Terryx mount here, trying to essentially goad, so to speak, secret plans and spending removal on it, uh, it, just so that there's less removal available for your other units. I think that the flying could matter a little in this matchup, but it's less consequential than say some other ones, I believe.
Yeah, and it is perhaps, it was a decision, but could be considered a misstep in terms of playing the Stormhelt plating instead of the Call to Hit on the first turn for the Inscribe. So the reason why they didn't play the Call to Hit Inscribe on the first turn is because just in case they draw more power, then they have the Call to Hit, which is pretty decent in the matchup. But by choosing to play the plating first, didn't have Shadow for a card like Shrivel, for a card like Hidden Garrote.
And now we're really seeing. Okay, so the hidden garage is fortunately able to just cleanly pop this Aegis, but Secret Plans is going to have to find some more power here uh, to really like deploy these Magnaventri. If these Magnaventri hit the board, they are going to be quite problematic for Ghost to deal with, even with double icicles. I think just because it still gives you the armor, stun something, very reasonable.
Oof.
Oof. Oh, I felt that in my soul.
Yeah.
Um,
There's an argument to Garrote, that way you can open up your shackles next turn. But if all you're worried about is block, then you just make the same play the next turn potentially.
okay. We have our Fierce Magnet of Interest though.
Seems like a good opportunity to slam and jam.
I think the great part about the Magnet of Interest here is that even if if Gosu is able to answer it, it means that they're likely not able to develop the rest of
Hmm.
the board, as we can see, as we've seen from their previous turns. Their hand is fairly reactive, which is problematic if you just let Secret Plans slowly accrue this massive Magnet of Interest that's going to come crashing in.
Second verse, same as the first. Maybe just play another icicles.
Yeah. Mm, Here, I
Uh,
liked just playing the other Magnet of Interest
yeah,
here, I think.
yeah. Let's just second verse, same as the first.
Yeah,
Just run it
I
back.
would try and like line up a turn where maybe I call. Oh, okay. So not. I wonder
Yeah,
if it was worthwhile to hidden garrote first, just to pop this face agent, just to pop this Aegis, um, before getting the black book, because you do know that Gozu's hand is quite reactive,
mhm.
just based on the previous turns. So there is probably something that you can grab here.
Yeah, like I agree with you that my goal would have been to play the Garrote and the Shackles in the same turn, and then play Black Book after that. But
Yeah.
this line of play does, if they didn't have the display, allows you to kind of like diversify your threats by being able to get War Cries on top of your deck. Maybe get them to overcommit into your Nothing Remains, then you could play Magnet Adventurous afterwards. So I understand the thought process that went into this one.
Absolutely. Second here. Interesting.
And the forward booty on the on on the Feral Serpent's like pretty good because the Hidden Garrote only has three. If his Lunar Claw would be able to kill it still though, but might
I
see
think
maybe a gift developed to pump up the Garrote while expanding your board.
yeah, I think I would absolutely drop the gift here, considering that Gozo has already played what two display of survival. The odds that they have interaction for this gift are very, very low, which means this gift can start to absolutely spiral out of control. And this is what we're talking about, right? Just having the threat, in this case, the gift, line up really well against the interaction that Gozo has, which is not much, unfortunately.
So there's a couple of ways to play from here. So you know that Gosu only has one card in hand. You might just deploy two of the Parliament Elders at this rate. But another reasonable line is to play the Magna Ventris, but I think you're just trying to set up Nothing Remains to just push this game out of reach for Gosu.
Yeah, I could also see maybe the Garrote plus the Magdaventures stunning the Torgoth. I think that would also be reasonable.
Oh, yeah, that plays actually probably better. Because you still get the Hidden Garrote to stay around, because you would have 6 armor before attacking the Feral Serpent.
Yeah,
Um, or I guess it would be 7 because the gift gives it a buff. Yeah. And then you make it so that way, since your Minotaur has taunt, you make it so that way next turn, if something like Plunk is drawn. Oh, interesting.
ooh, I like this play better. Nice call. Burning the Aegis so that you can get a clean nothing remains.
Yeah, doesn't stand up well against the block though, which is the problem with the play. Except you're able to Magna Ventress here, so you can wait. You're kind of hoping that Gosu doesn't draw another banger off the top.
Yeah, and I think it's fine because you can just simply use the the hidden garrote here to whack Gozu's face. Um, completely. Uh, I think I would have preferred to. Yeah, I think I would have preferred Magniventressing here over the double element. Though I can see perhaps like just wanting to. I'm not quite. I'm not
Well,
totally sure what secret
well,
plans is playing to. However.
right. So the reason why you do it this way is because you're just saying every time you don't draw a flyer, I can deal more damage, then deploy both of my ground pounders afterwards, and then use that to my advantage, and just try to like protect this Garrote for 3 more turns. Unfortunately, Gosu did draw a flyer, which makes it a little bit harder, but you're still able to Magna Ventris because it doesn't have Aegis due to the Garrote. So you're just trying to say, you played 2 displays already. I'm just going to protect the queen where the queen is hitting Garrote.
Makes perfect sense. Also, you could just kill uh, Gozu. That's also an option, I suppose.
Yeah.
But what? Why kill your opponent when you could just, I don't know, dirt
Oh,
run
and
them?
this plays great too. So by not playing the Light Hoof, you open up the unblockable line for next turn.
Excellent. Yeah, very, very nice.
So yeah, not immediately obvious, but Secret Plans showing some prowess with this deck. I'm sure we might not have heard of them before, but you know there are players every now and then that burst onto the scene. You mentioned JNL, um, and you know Secret Plans looking to potentially be up the first game, but this Invoke taking a while, just maybe surveying the scene, trying to think, looking at the deck list, something you should always do.
Hmm. Uh, huh.
I guess in our expedition, you know, events, you should be playing things in your market. Just a funny byproduct of what goes on. But yeah, you get to do the Lighthoof line here.
Yep. Then then that's gonna be game one over to Secret Plans. Just one win away from making TNE history, I think. We're putting it that way. We've come very close. I think back during the Throne events, a lot of people ran back gozuu's challenge number two winning Xenon midrange deck with Twisted Farmer, Tazbu, and so forth, and had done very, very well in the hands of a lot of different pilots.
Hmm.
But this is I mean, it's a historic moment. It's a
Yeah,
historic moment.
yeah. And we saw a few people playing it, right? Like, so we have Secret Plans, Croge. I didn't double check if like anyone else was playing exactly the same list that won last week, but I mean, if it wins this week, what does it say about the metagame next week? Like, I'm really excited, and I'm gonna, you know, try pretty hard for this Expedition Open as well, and you know, I'm excited to see what, you know, both your team, the Glorious Gathering, and the Misplay is able to come up with, along with, you know, all the other teams and individuals out there that are really showing their stuff. Like, you know, Secret Plans, like, obviously has to be a pretty decent pilot to come up with some of these lines and such, and maybe they're looking to join a team too. But winning a TNE is a good way for that to start. I know that JNL was able to join Team Invoke Lethal, you know, kind of shortly after their success on the circuit here.
Yeah, I mean, like the competition in TNEs, uh, like although the original analogy for TNEs was like a sort of FNM style event, right? It's just casual, fun times. It is sort of tournamenty, but not serious. And then you have what multiple worlds competitors facing you down, and you're just like, ooh, oh, huh, hmm.
Right. Like to put perspective on it, like I've never played a TNE, partially due to time, partially due to my circumstances in terms of whether or not I'm qualified for Worlds. But like I don't think I would be a favorite to top eight a TNE if I were to play. And yet there are
Oh,
people that are out here doing it like all the time, and I think it's
yeah.
fantastic to watch.
I think okay. Re- Fun fact of trivia before we delve into this game. I believe last season, the summer season of 2021, everyone who qualified via a wildcard slot had at least six top eight positions. So
Jeez.
if you consider how like the caliber of players that go, like how hard it is to top eight one event, keep in mind
Mhm.
that everyone who made a wildcard slot top eight at six, at least six, which
Yeah.
is, I think, a ridiculous statistic to think about.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine like that that's just like you're getting out there, you're really putting in the time, you're not giving up the small edges, and you're, you know, taking every Saturday or whatever day of the week it is to just play so much Eternal. And that level of dedication definitely shows getting paid off with those wild card slots and
Yep.
what you discussed.
Unfortunately for Gozi here, missing the the fourth power drop for the island, and opening the door for Secret Plans to really steamroll away with this game.
Yeah, it's an interesting
Interesting.
decision what you do on this turn four, but I'm pretty sure I agree with Magna Ventress.
Yep. I think even though you can't really block with it per se, I think it's just correct to uh, gain a little bit of life. It, between your other options, I think this made the most. Okay, here Would you? I don't. Hmm.
So you know
I
that your
don't.
opponent's in debt next turn. I think you just gotta go road. The Parliament Elder
Yeah.
play does
I'm
make sense too, but it's like one of your few things that gets permafrosted, and you're like forcing them to play off cycle this turn. I think it's
okay.
pretty interesting to
Actually,
use icicles there instead of permafrost.
I think Goz is realizing, hey, they Secret Plans probably has some really good stuff in five, and I don't want to ramp them, especially now that they're essentially stuck on power. Which that I think is certainly also a reasonable call here. Knock Beautiful, knocking off that face ages, lining up that black book to snipe. Probably the sundown accord here, but not confident. Ooh.
Jeez, the fives are just so powerful in these Argenport decks, but the times that you miss just feel so bad. But you have so much inscribed, like it's just gonna happen sometimes. It's kind of what you sign up for.
Mm-mm. I would probably lead with Island here. My concern with the oh nope, that also oh, I'm trying to decide if I like that or not.
I think it's good. You want to leave up the display.
Yes, also makes sense.
So if secret plans were to play something like Black Book, then you can use the display. Here you can use the display
Oh,
to,
this
you
is
know, one for
perfect.
your opponent.
Oh my goodness, the blowout. And now, would you be worried about playing around Call the Hit for Palak here, or do you think
And
it's
just jam. They would have inscribed.
a very good point?
You can play that one too. That's fine. You had to play something that turn.
Yep. Then I think I would go for the Lunar Claw here just because just to get this Eileen off the board.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. Pharaoh Serpent really showing its stuff this game too. It's just it's just a card that I really think should see more play, but like being double primal is kind of rough. And it doesn't always line up well against the relic weapons, but it is very big. Oh, that has got
I
to be on icicles, yeah.
do here.
So you know that your opponent has icicles. You know that there's a bunch more icicles coming.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
don't think it
unfortunate
matters what you do.
for Gozu, but like, sorry, unfortunate for Secret Plans, but they're sort of in a lose-lose situation here with Gozu
Pew
being able to run
pew.
a bunch of icicles at the top of their deck.
All right, going to game three. So yeah, that was pretty interesting game. Like even though there's like the stumble and power, there's still a lot of decision making processes going on there. It's unclear whether or not like if different lines were taken, whether or not that would change the end result of the game. But regardless, we just have the maximum amount of sorry. Um, we kind of just have the maximum amount of games here. So it's all I want in my finals, and I'm really happy to see that.
Maximum amount of expedition for our viewing pleasure. And
Yeah,
I think Feral Serpent.
kind of the MVP, right?
Hmm?
Feral Serpent's kind of like the MVP, right? Like
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just snuck in so much damage.
I sort of feel okay. So, the joke when Helena got nerfed initially from the +3, +4 endurance, like with the contract, was that now people will stop using Helena, so contracting Helena so aggressively, and I feel like I am the person who miscontracts Pharaoh Serpent a lot
Mm.
with the Aegis. Definitely a card I need to learn how to play around with. But just the 4/3 flyer is very, very good in a lot of situations.
Don't worry, Storm. You have time before next week.
Oh, thank you.
to play Argenport control because it does so
I
well.
mean, it is a deck that my teammates have came up with, so um, it's. I mean, I know my way around it. We'll just say that.
Mhm. You know how to attack. Okay, so just kind of developing some power. We see Secret Plans choose not to play the Garrote on turn two, kind of valuing the Aegis, but also with cards like Icicles, Trick Shot, or Trick Throw, you just don't, or and Thicket Trap. You will want to kind of like combo it on a very special turn.
Yep, yep. Parliament Elder here is great. Any removal that goes to spins in this is probably not fantastic. For yeah, the display, they still get a unit out of it, and they don't have display for relic weapons. You're very happy, I think.
Pretty interesting situation here. I think you get to attack with the Garon because then you can just, use the leftovers with the Garrote to be able to kill the Eileen.
Uh,
Uh, Choosing to pop here by giving it unblockable, but yeah, I do think you're allowed to attack with the Garrote first, or the Garon first, but I definitely understand where they're coming from with this sort of play. So just trying to conserve their life, saying I am going to play Nothing Remains at some point. Gosu, on the other hand, can okay.
ooh.
It's pretty interesting.
Actually, this is going to line up very well because when Gozus plays the Palak next turn,
Mhm.
then it's just going to be eaten by this call to hit.
Unless if instead it's
So
Torgoth.
I might be tempted to just play, yeah, either the Serpent or the Torgoth. For, ooh, oh
So
no.
so the reason for this is the allure of drawing a Primal Sigil next turn and just being able to two spell.
Oh, the other. I understand. But, oof, that was quite punishing, I think. And this is why I haven't played Palak up until this point. Um, yeah, so just to make sure that you can chip through that damage here. Let me just attack. Play the. Yeah, I think I like. Hmm.
Yeah, kind of starting to fall behind a little. So Secret Plans knows that they can use the Light Hoof to blow the Aegis on the Feral Serpent, but
Yep.
once your Magna Ventress won't attack as big, it makes the next couple turns a little bit more difficult. I feel like Secret Plans need something like Stormhall plating to really solidify this one, but currently it looks like Gozu's in the driver's seat.
Absolutely. And Permafrost here hitting one of the actually not bad targets. Ooh, Shrivel here. Very nice to deal with this flyer.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
depends on which one you think the prize is. So you can attack and shrivel, or you can attack and garrote, and then shrivel the flyer. It just depends on what you think the problem actually is. Wow, not non-stop hits for Gosu. I wonder if Secret Plans is able to come up with something.
ooh, power here. Fortunate. But,
Still get to free attack with the Magna Ventress, which is nice. The
I think
Palak's
bigger
just so
thing
good
here.
that
Yeah, your Palak is just far too valuable. Ooh, and ooh, I like this Thicket Trap a lot, actually, just because you can. I mean, you probably save it, but this is very good in case Secret Plan suddenly rips a Stonehall plating off the top of your deck. What do we have? Oh, that is, I think, one of the stronger hits, especially because it punches through this Magnet Entrance as well.
Jeez, I don't even know what that card is. Oh wow.
No killer. Ooh, but there we see. Stonewall plating is solid here, but unfortunately still can't kill this Lida.
Well,
It's just gonna
you can
keep
play the plating
punishing
and attack with Magna Ventress, and then off the other two, and then you're setting up close to lethal, given that
with
the
Garrote.
sorry.
Yeah, close to lethal with the Garrote.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Exactly. Because that would be 11 points. Yeah. Like pretty big, but I feel like gozuu's like pretty priced into taking it. Yeah, plating the turnaround card. I wouldn't say I called it, but I did think it was what Secret Plans needed to hit to be able to really, you know, tussle in this game.
Absolutely.
So what does the card that I don't know do? The one on the far right?
Lida most skilled is a 4/5 unseen
Hmm.
with overwhelm, but if you have an unseen ally, then it gets killed.
Ah,
Unfortunately, no unseen allies here, but
so not the most skilled, just a little bit skilled.
fairly skilled. And Lida fairly skilled.
But yeah, so one of the big lures to, or like what really gravitates you towards the justice strategies is just like all your power up until like before 8 is kind of dead, but then you just have this huge banger and storm help plating. It's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
I also really love the tempo of Elder, right? So say you go, say 5 drop.
Hmm.
So you're very strong 5 drop Black Book gift into 2 Parliament Elders
Mhm.
into Stoneheart plating the next turn. The
Oh
tempo of
wow.
that
Yeah.
just works extremely well.
Oh
Ooh,
wow. That's lethal.
that is lethal. And
The
I
back to
believe,
back with the same 75, different players. Secret Plans goes from 0 to hero, just taking down challenge number 8.
well, huge congratulations to Secret Plans for pulling off this victory, coming back from the 3-2 start in
Yeah.
top 8, having fantastic breakers, and playing, understanding what this deck is looking to do very well every
Yeah.
step.
And also props to Gosu coming out with an innovative deck. Like I haven't played much ladder, but I haven't seen Mono Primal. And just a really cool strategy, really strong player. We'll see them in Worlds later this year. We'll see them in the Invitational later, this year. Not that far away. But speaking of not that far away, the next event's also not that far away, right?
Yep. So next week we'll be back at the same time, 11 Eastern Daylight Time, for challenge number. Yep, for
Yeah.
challenge number 9. Challenge number 9 will continue to be expedition, in preparation of the open at the end of this week. I believe we will have Duocat and Dragon Rider as our casters for next week, so that's going to be extremely hype. Uh, I'm sure they're going to show all of you guys a fantastic time as well. Uh, and yes, so signups for challenge number 9 are now open over at Battle5 Tuesday Night Eternal. So if you're raring to go after seeing this spectacular performance from Secret Plans, please do sign up over there. Remember, anyone can win a challenge, win the invitational, and make it to Worlds.
Yeah,
So
and these tournaments also have cash prizes. And let's see, let me double check notes for the entry fee. Oh wait, it's free. Like literally anyone in chat. We have over 100 people in chat. Any of you can be playing. Any of you can qualify for Worlds in this very free to play game in this free to play tournament. Just get out there and play.
yep, yep. And be like, and next week I'll be back probably in the trenches, trying to fight for my wildcard position. So I know it's really sad. Okay, I'm not doing very well, but I'll be back in the trenches fighting for my wildcard position. So hopefully you'll see me there as well, and then we can have some good games.
Yeah.
Um, if obviously, as we mentioned, the secret plans didn't just come up with this list out of thin air. The VODs for for this challenge will be posted to YouTube over the next couple of days, so you can review exactly all the different lines that we talked about, as well as the lines that the players took, and the deck lists, i.e., the winningest deck list from the past 2 challenges, will is already up. Sorry, already up on Eternal Warcry apparently. So you can check out this challenge's winning deck list there, as well as other strong performing deck lists over the course of the next few days. We'd like to give a massive, massive thanks, round of applause, etc., etc. Firstly, to our production manager, the Overmaster, our defending world champion, for handling all the logistics, all the software, giving us this beautiful setup for which you guys are all watching right now, as well as Qualtrain, who was our tournament organizer for today, making sure everything ran smoothly, dealing with all the bugs, the issues that popped up, and just making sure all the players had a good time. Thank you to Watchwolf
That's me.
for casting. Aw. And of course, thank you to the players who made this extremely entertaining show possible, as well as you, the viewer, for for interacting in chat and making and giving TNE the support it needs to really thrive as a community tournament series.
And
All right.
thanks to you too, Stormguard. We know you could have played today, been in the thick of it for the race and stuff, but yet you chose to join us in the booth and grace us with your presence, and I have to say that I appreciate it.
I appreciate it as well. I am delightful, I must say so. All right.
And only the most humble too.
Alrighty. So I believe yes. So I believe that is it for thanks. Thank you so much, and
See you
have
next
a
week, yeah.
yes.
Right?
See you next week, and have a great rest of your day.
To the outro.
Outro. Wah.